From Forex Traders Daily, this is your daily analysis with Ross Mullins, live from Richmond, Virginia.
Hello everyone, this is today's video analysis for March 12th, 2015. In a moment, I'll be starting the day on the GBPUSD, Greater British Pound versus the US dollar. But first, I want to recap some of the trade suggestions that we've had pending over the past few days from the trade room. First, starting here on the AUD-USD, the Australian, versus the US dollar. Of course, news yesterday out of Australia causing this to bounce off of the lows into the 7500s, taking it back into the 7600s, now challenging up towards 7700. Over the past few days, we've been studying specifically on the 4-hour chart the supports that you see over here on the left-hand side inside the green shaded area. Definitely looking for some resistance there into the 7680, the 7700 level, but a break of 7700 will likely take it back to 7720 to 7750 in the blue shaded area along the bearish trend line that we see here. Taking it down to the 4-hour chart, you can see the market pushing, or at least attempting to push through the green shaded area. Zoom it out just a little bit and you can see those historical supports. We were looking for these supports over here to act as some resistance today. Pushing a little bit above it, I'm not too concerned with that. 7680 right now, I have a sell at 7680. If it breaks above here, I don't really want to stay in a sell too long, but it's likely to push back up here towards the blue zone. That could be our next opportunity to sell this in the direction of the trend, back to the blue, or maybe even all the way back up here to the purple shaded area as it challenges closer to the trend line. We do have some US data today, which if it comes out positive, of course, we would expect this to push back down towards the orange shaded area as our next profit target for any sells that you might be in. Anything underneath there, we'll look for it to go lower. Of course, we'll look for positive US data to push it back underneath the green zone. Anything on top, if it opens and closes, breaks out above the green zone, likely to see that blue shaded area. So I'm in a sell 7680, looking for it to turn back lower towards the orange shaded area. Breakout here, we look for the blue or the purple shaded area back towards the longer term trend line. One last thing here before we move on. Let's take Fibonacci from the highest high down to the current low. Highest high of this short leg of the downtrend, what I'm talking about, not the highest high of the trend, but just this leg of the downtrend. That high down to that low puts the 382 Fibonacci retracement level right at 7694. That's where we've capped out as our high, 50% right smack in the middle of the blue shaded area. So we can see some Fibonacci assisting us as resistance right now. We'll look for, like I said, positive US data, maybe to send this lower. Same thing over here on the US yen. We've seen the market pulling back from the resistance high. We've studied this last resistance high in the yellow shaded area over the past few days in the trade room, knowing that definitely could look for some resistance there. If you went ahead and took a counter trend trade right there into the yellow shaded area, the 121.50 level, of course you should be protecting profit as it goes down. And remember, you're trading counter trend at this point. We've studied the three patterns here on the chart, or at least the previous two, looking for the third time challenging this pattern. We can see the fall into support, the rise, the fall into support, the rise. Now we're looking for the next fall into support. I have a pending trade and have had for the past few days right around the 120.50 level, 120.45 or so, inside the middle of the blue shaded area, looking for support there and a turn back higher. If we get positive data today, we may not see that blue shaded area hit, and we'll look for a break of the yellow zone to continue the uptrend. Any negative US data may see that challenge back down here into the blue shaded area, and then of course we'll look for support along the trend lines, Fibonacci, and into that historical resistance on the left hand side. Taking it over to the US Canadian, this one also, we've been looking at the resistance, very similar to the US yen by the way, looking at the resistance into the yellow shaded area at the top of the trend, long-term uptrend. Take it out to the weekly chart, we can see it's been a long-term uptrend. We saw the push outside the triangle pattern over the past several days. Take it back to the daily chart, there's our same triangle pattern there. We saw the push outside, we're coming back down very close to retesting the top side, but I think the blue zone might be our area to watch. Blue shaded area, you see resistance, 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 all the way back to the left-hand side. So right there between 26.15 and 26.45, that blue shaded area will likely look for some support in there. I already have a buy order sitting in there. By the way, the buy order that we've had sitting from 24.45 closed that yesterday as it sat inside the yellow shaded area for over 300 pips, and that trade came from last week. So the buy from down here 24.45 has been closed into the yellow shaded area. Now looking for adding back on On a retest back down into support, these last resistance into the blue shaded area around the 26.25 level, I believe. 26.25 is our buy order right now. Let me make sure here. Yeah, I think it's right at 26.25 is the buy order at the bottom of the blue zone, looking for it to turn back higher again. Of course, Canadian employment data tomorrow could highly affect this currency pair. Let's take it on over to the GBP USD, Greater British Pound versus the US dollar. Long-term downtrend. I don't think we need to talk about that too much. We've seen this in a downtrend for quite a long time. Nice rally back into the 100-day, 100-period moving average. That's the green line you see here on the chart, which is floating along the bearish blue trend line that we see here. Challenged into that 100-day moving average and now has made a new low. Since we made a new low, we adjusted the trend line to encapsulate that last resistance high there. So you can see how far away the trend line is right now from the current market. So not really something that will affect it, the long-term trend line, but we do have a shorter one that we'll look at here in a moment. Long-term downtrend, we're looking for opportunities to sell on the break of support. Zooming in a couple of times here, you see these historical support over here on the left-hand side of the chart inside the green shaded area. So those supports are what we're looking for now to act as our resistance for the pound dollar. So we're looking at resistance. I am in a sell now on the pound dollar from the 1.5 thousand level, entered a sell at 5,000, and now looking for the dip back down under the green zone and a turn back down towards the yellow shaded area. As long as we stay within or under that green shaded area, I'm looking for it to fall back down towards the orange or yellow gold shaded area down here at the very bottom of the chart. Anything above that green shaded area, and the green trend line, by the way, we'll start to look for a little bit of a pullback here. So really will depend on US data today, probably. Positive data, we'll obviously look for this to head back down towards the gold shaded area. Negative data could break through that green zone and make a new resistance high as it starts to break above this green trend line. Take it down to the 4-hour chart. We'll zoom it out a little bit so we can see that entire green trend line sitting there. There's the green trend line. There's our resistance. Even this resistance here. Let's zoom it out one more time. But you can see the support over here on the left-hand side acting as our support resistance right now. These supports on the left, even support right here acting as our resistance. Looking for it to stay underneath at least 50.30 today, but definitely 5,000 is the spot that I have entered the trade already, the active live sell opportunity. So staying within or under the green zone, I'm looking for it to go back down. Like I said, back down towards the mid to upper 1.4800s. A break above 5,030. We'll look for the blue zone to be resistance. Anything above there, we're looking for it to make another healthy return back higher again. Couple of fibs we'll take here on the chart. We'll go from the high of the green trend line down to the current support low, 236, just above the market, 1.5048. So that's what we're going to use for our risk assessment. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and set that as the stop loss just above that. I haven't set that stop loss yet. So I'm going to go to 1.5050 here, just so you can see why I'm pushing that there. 5,050. Well, I'm trying to get that set there. There it goes. 5,050 will be our stop loss. Let's go ahead and get that set. That's just at the top of that 236 Fibonacci retracement level. So we definitely would like to see it stay within or under that green shaded area. A break above it, we could be looking for it to go higher. If you wanted to put your stop a little bit higher, maybe 5,055, 60, it could be a possibility, but just be careful that you're not overexposing your account to risk. Challenges to the blue zone or higher will likely go higher. We can see the trend line. Of course, we'd like to see it stay underneath there also. One last fib. Let's take a short fib of the last little short leg here, which would be, of course, apparent on any smaller compressions. Fibonacci of that last leg there, we see the 50% and 382 sitting right here into the green shaded area. So clearly, the green zone is what we're looking for as our resistance today. Remember, if you're new to my trading strategy, if I see 20 to 25 pips, I'm moving my stop to break even. So if I'm in at 5,000, anything underneath the 49.80 level, I'll be looking to protect that trade from going negative again here on the pound dollar. So we'll definitely be watching the news coming up in about a half an hour from the recording of this video to see how the pound dollar is handled with that US data. A break above the green zone goes higher. Below it, we target all the way back down towards the 48.70s for the pound dollar today.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.